And so as we're near the end of 2021, it appears there are still some people vying for the Of the Year awards. The biggest seller will always be Cocaine Mitch, cringiest moment is McAuliffe's dancing, biggest idiot is AOC, though Joe Biden is virtually tying for that, I mean bloody hell. Then again, the biggest literal holy shit moment came when he met the Pope and had a bathroom break when he met his unholiness because the Pope is an evil wanker. By the way, I can't confirm if this is true, but I was watching Michael Malice and James Lindsay. Apparently, this is a full-time occupation at the White House, a cleanup crew for Poopy Pants Biden, which was trending on Twitter during that old fiasco. I bet you they nicked some street cleaners from San Francisco for the job. Not a surprise though, the man is near 80 years old, he's riddled with dementia, and he's full of shit, needing to void his bowels more often than Chris Christie demands a free refill. But the one award, the most outrageous grift, and there has been quite the many this year, I would like to nominate Colin Kaepernick, the former NFL quarterback. Now, if your eyes are growing wide and you're tugging at your shirt collar nervously thinking, uh-oh, is Spoon going to say something wild and outrageously inappropriate? Yes, I am, because to quote the great Bernie Mac, tell him, Bernie.
I'm telling like this.
Thank you, Bernie. Now, I'm sure many of you recognize this dude. He's the failed NFL player who, after he started sucking ass and kept getting benched, decided, like the simp that he is, that he could make more money being on his knees filleting Nike and BLM than he could getting his ass kicked on the field. And ever since then, he's been trying to one-up his own outrageous whining every time he runs out of attention. This man has never given a single bollock about black lives, or police brutality for that matter. Not that BLM ever did. I find if your movement cares more about the race of the person doing the harm rather than the total amount of harm befalling the community as a whole, regardless of the race of the perpetrator, yeah, your movement is about as hollow as AOC's empty noggin. Hey Kaepernick, would you like to discuss the lack of fathers in the black community? Of course not. There's no money to be made in that. These people are Marxists. They want power. They have zero interest in encouraging individual accountability. It's the antithesis of their entire movement. Now, for obviously stupid reasons, I can't call this guy a monkey. But when I do call someone a monkey, it's because they fling crap at the walls praying something sticks, which is pretty much all this asshat does. You can see where I'm going with this. So recently, the poodle-haired mongoloid managed to snag a Netflix series, no, I am not kidding, where he compares the NFL to slavery. I think I can speak for quite a lot of people when I say, shut the fuck up! How the hell does this twat still get attention? How does one compare slavery, which is against your will, versus busting your ass voluntarily in the hopes of scoring a freaking multi-million-dollar contract? And can we take a moment to appreciate the irony of this git pissing and moaning about slavery when he's worked with Nike, who not only has a contract with the NFL, but is known for actually using slave labor? It's a bit hypocritical to compare your former employees to slavery and then take a knee to suck off Nike, who's known for the very ill you're accusing the NFL of being, don't you think? And has he denounced Nike? Hell no! As if this creature has any shred of integrity. It has always been about the money. So in the trailer, he talks about being poked, prodded, and examined before they let you on the field, no boundaries respected or dignity left intact, blah 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 blah. And then it has young black gentlemen, presumably being scouted for the NFL in the hope of scoring said multi-million-dollar contract, walking into this newly morphed scene, and the men are now in chains, being sold off to a plantation owner dressed like my avatar, where they will, not get paid a damn cent for their labor. This comparison, according to the Netflix director, is about social control of the black body. Now, as insane as that may sound, when it comes to, say, certain athletes bucking the toe-the-line mantra of the coof, there is actually an element of truth to that, but it has nothing to do with the sport. It's because they have influence for being a famous sports personality. But aside from that, what the hell are you talking about? Secondly, the NFL doesn't just have black players, right? Every potential player goes through this process. And can I just ask, this man talks about the black body. Does this man look black to you? Hell, if you took his skin complexion and you put him back in the age of slavery, it likely meant that his father or grandfather was a plantation owner and he came from money. He got a higher class of education, or he would have been part of the upper echelon of the mulattoes present during that time. Not that he would ever know this, because unlike him, the authors of the books I read don't look like a drunken soot-covered Santa the day after Christmas. Nah, I'm just kidding, he doesn't read. He looks like he just strolled across the damn border, not brought over on a boat. Hell, if I tan, I am darker than he is. And I find it very funny that he tries to paint this process as horribly embarrassing, invasive, and lacking dignity, etc., etc. Funny, you never mentioned any of this when you started your NFL career, pal. I wonder if there was perhaps an incentive for you going through all of this horribly degrading invasion of your person like, oh, I don't know, a fat sack of cash maybe? You grifting two-faced asshole? I can imagine him having flashbacks going, oh, this is how my ancestors must have felt. At least I think so. My memory be kinda hazy because, my other half be white as shit. I will bet my bollocks. Most men, actually no, all men being scouted never think this ever, including him. These are full-blooded young men fully aware they are going into a hyper-competitive arena for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They aren't thinking about slavery, you absolute lunatic. They're gonna take this as a chance to flex and kick some ass because that's a winner's attitude. Who the hell are the idiots at Netflix who are greenlighting this crap? Who the hell wants to watch this? Who is your target demographic? According to Kaepernick, this entire process is establishing a power dynamic. I'm wondering how many times I can say what the hell before it sounds like I'm just repeating myself, but this verbiage comes straight out of the Marxist playbook. Because nothing quite screams oppression like a 7-figure salary, you dopey geek. Again, same guy who has a contract with Nike. But buckle up because this unbelievably gets even worse. So this guy hasn't played professionally since 2016, so 5 years ago. This guy, Mr. NFL is slavery, astonishingly says that he still practices 5 or 6 days a week because he still wants to play for the NFL. To quote George Carlin, I'd like to repeat that because it sounds vaguely important. He says he still wants to play for the NFL. You haven't played in 5 years, you dragged politics into the sport after you got benched because you're a whiny ass, created massively unnecessary drama for the league, you got canned for your controversy and ineptitude as a player, insulted your former employees, saying their selection process is akin to slavery, and despite all of that, you still want to go back to them. The ego of this cretin is in the stratosphere. Tell me, you moron, do you think after 5 years of not playing, at 33 years of age, what do you think your chances of sucking back then, still sucking now, would be? I'd bet it's quite high. And also, you know that subject you to the same physical scrutiny you protest so much about coming back into the league, if any team was suicidally stupid enough to think your toxic has-been ass is worth anything. And to top off the cream of the crop that is his massively inflated ego with regards to training to get back into the NFL, and these are his own words, by the way, that's not something I will ever let go of, regardless of the action of 32 teams and their partners to deny me employment. Deny me employment. You know what's bad? When I, of all people, am stunned into silence at the size of someone's massively arrogant entitlement. Now, the funny thing is for me, there is actually a way to tie the NFL to slavery in a way that is comical and more accurate, which I guarantee was not the intent of this episode, even though this entire spiel looks like a troll and him like a damn joke. So that part is quite funny. So if you look at the past, blacks used to work the fields, now they work on a field. The plantation owners, much like the stadiums, and the team owners are still almost exclusively white. The main difference, however, is that now everyone can engage in a guilt-free activity that potentially profits on the backs of these athletes' labor through a process we call betting. Now with all of that out of the way, I'll finish this up by saying this. Always remember what Kaepernick really is. He's just a symptom of a much larger problem in our society. He's the athletic section's grift of victimhood, milking it for every damn cent it's worth, and the cow is producing powdered milk at this point, let's be honest. He's just a desperate attention addict. That is all he is, and that is all he will remain. Just another symptom of a decadent society that is so well off, it destroys itself just so it has something to complain about, no matter how pathetically stupid the complaint might be. And that's all for today. Until next time.